morning, everybody. Happy Friday. I'm happy to get to talk to you today. Today, I want to share a little bit about my initial experience with Jamberry, and hopefully it will emphasize the importance of how we should be making continuous and constant contact with those people, those in the very, very beginning stages of our contact with somebody. So my first experience with Jamberry was back in 2013 when I was still in the military. I was actually a Mary Kay independent consultant at the time. And a friend of mine had brought me a sample. Her mom was actually selling Jamberry. And she said, "Hey, I think you would really like these. Check it out." So I got on the website, I had the sample. I got on the website and I was like, "Oh, these are cool. I gotta like these," right? And I put the sample on my desk, and there it sat at my desk at work. And there it sat for like a month. Never touched it. And then I moved offices and it disappeared. And then that was that. That was that for Jamberry for a while. I get out of the military. I have ASIN. About 6 months after I had ASIN, I get a message from a friend of mine who we had gone to our initial military training together, and she and I had a interesting relationship when we were, it was like 10 years prior. We were kind of frenemies. She was very New York and I was very not. And we were super competitive, but we were still friends. But I hadn't heard from her in like 10 years. So she had sent me an invite to her launch party, and she said, "Hey, come check out my, Jamberry, this really, really cool nail wraps." And of course, I'm like, "Oh yeah, I heard of Jamberry before." But I didn't do anything to the message. I didn't respond back. I didn't check out the page or anything. I just let it sit. And I was like, I was probably nursing or doing something else, right? So I was like, okay, well, whatever. And then 30 minutes before her party started, she sent me another message. And she's like, "Hey, Corey, my party's about to start. I really hope you can come join us. It's going to be a lot of fun." I'm like, "Oh, okay, well, I'm not doing anything." So I jump in, right? Of course, I get in the party and I am tearing up this party. I am, calling the cupcakes with jams, and I'm commenting. I'm like, "This is awesome," right? I end up winning something at the party, and I placed an order, and I actually booked a party with Allison because I thought that was so cool. And then, I got my first sheet of jams, and I did my first application. They were pumpkin spice. Those were my first jams. And they were horrible. I mean, I had more bubbles in the bathtub. It was a nightmare. But I still loved it. I still thought it was the coolest thing ever. So, about halfway through my party, a couple weeks later, I actually started asking Allison about the opportunity and asking those questions. And I pretty much gave her the Spanish Inquisition. I asked so many questions. And then I signed up like a week later using my hostess credit. So that's kind of the beginning of my Jamberry journey and my experience. So what I wanted to point out was a couple key points in this that may have changed the trajectory of my Jamberry experience. So first off, I got a sample, but I didn't give my contact information to the person who gave me the sample, so they never followed up with me. So that sample just sat there. This happens all the time. You hand out samples, and if you don't follow up with them, they're not going to put it on. It's just going to sit there. So that's number one. Number two, Allison sent me one message, and I completely ignored it. That second message is what got me into her party. So it's really, really important that we're teaching our new jam babies as they come in, and doing this ourselves when we're coaching our hostesses, that those two messages are really, really important. That first initial, "Hey, I'm having a party, I'd love for you to come," and that second one, "Hey, the party's about to start, I hope you could join us." Those two can make the difference between somebody coming in a party and somebody not coming in a party. And then the third one would be making sure that you ask people about if they want information about Jamberry. And granted, I kind of jumped the gun a little bit. I was the one who was asking questions, but that's pretty rare. It happens every once in a while, but not very. So, what if Allison hadn't, you know, maybe I didn't ask those questions, and if Allison hadn't asked me if I wanted information, you know, there's 42 people on my team who would not be around Jamboree, right? What if Danielle's sponsor didn't ask her if she wanted to do Jamboree because, you know, maybe she was afraid because Danielle had 5 kids that she wouldn't have time, right? What if Morgan's sponsor never asked her, right? I mean, there's over 6,000 people in Morgan's downline. Think about those women's lives that have changed. And if her sponsor never asked her if she wanted information, where we would all be. So I think I'll wrap that up for today. I hope you get something out of it, and I can't wait to talk to you ladies next week. I'm off to Zumba. So you all have a fantastic Friday. I'm going to finish my coffee and head off to the gym, and I will see you all later. Cheers.